God has ordained it. And because this is the day that the Lord has made it, we will rejoice and we will be glad in it. So I hope everybody's enjoying themselves. We are here. It's a little rainy over here in the DMV, but we still are having a wonderful time. Because when the rain comes down, what do we say? The blessings come. Well, the blessings go up. Is that what it says? When the rain comes down, yeah, the blessings go up. When the blessings go up, the rain, and never mind. When the rain comes down, the blessings go up. But anyway, it's all about the blessings. And I hope you're enjoying your empowered day this day, because you are empowered value in the earth, one individual at a time. Everywhere you go, make sure you lift up somebody. Make sure you get someone to the height that God has created them to be. And don't ever forget that, because that's why we're here. If we're not doing that, then there's a problem. There's a problem, and God will have to correct it. But we are here to bring God glory and to lift people up. Don't forget to get your sword fresh. Scan the QR code right here. Go to our website, favorofthegreatgod.com. Go to our Fava a la carte, and you will be able to purchase your own. We have different sizes. We have them in a case. You could do that. And what we say is we hydrate while we liberate. So we're liberating people every time we hydrate with our wonderful drink. And we're coming out there somewhere near you. Yeah, just know that. But in the meantime, go ahead and get your Soar Fresh. Stay fresh, stay sore. Also, Fava, our QR code right here for Fava Reach, which is our nonprofit where we donate to liberate. We are liberating human traffic victims, one victim at a time. We're not just liberating them from whatever they're caught up in, whatever trafficking situation they're caught up in, but we want to liberate them in their spirit, their mind, their soul, their body, to liberate the whole man. So when they come out of that thing, they will knock the devil out, because they'll be the success that God has created them to be. And they'll be able to lift up other people as well. So that is our aim, and that is our desire. So every dime you get will be put towards that. If you go to our Fava Market, everything we sell on there, every bit of merch that sells on there, there's a portion that goes towards liberating our human traffic victims, and everything with the logo Fava Reach, everything goes towards liberating our human traffic victims, because we think it's that important. There is no reason for slavery to be going on in this earth, not after what we went through for 400 years in the past, and even before that. There's no reason for it. So we want to help people who can't help themselves, so that they can get to the place that God wants them to be. So don't forget to do that. FF26 coming up September 10th, 12th, and 13th. You can tell there's a lot going on over here. September 10th, 12th, and 13th. Go to our website. Go to our Fava Festival page. We have a little link, a little section on our homepage where you can click on there and go straight to the Fava Festival page and make your purchase and register, because we're doing something every Fava Festival. We're doing something amazing. But this year, we're putting the boots to the metal. Metal to the boots. I have all these things to them, not saying the right way, but God help me. Anyway, we're putting our hands to the metal to get them done. And it's our Founders Edition. So we're calling on our founders and entrepreneurs, our artists, our leaders, anyone who wants to partner with us to get some things done. We started the framework, and we're going to build on that so we can create what we call restoration economy for our people who are caught up. When they get out of it, we want them to get to a place where they can now survive and thrive, not just survive, but thrive, and become CEOs and become leaders and become entrepreneurs and become even governmental officials. We want them to leave being, and we want to support them into being their best selves in the earth. So that's what we do as warriors. We fight for them so they can fight for others. That's what we do. Empowered value warriors all over the place. So that's what we're going to do this year. And we're doing it, and we're luxuriating while we liberate. Okay, so that's what we do. Everything we do, yeah, it may be fancy, but it has a back end meaning to liberate people. If it doesn't do that, then we're not going to get in it, because we're not about breaking down. We're about building up every single person we come in contact with everywhere we go, because that's why God created us on the earth on purpose, and we're living out loud. So don't forget to join us. Go up there, not scan QR code. Go to our website. Join us, get some friends, and it's limited this year, so get some friends and tell them we're doing something good and they can come. We're trying to get into some artists, and we got to get out some speakers, and we want to help us come together so we can get this done. It's not just going to be like a conference typical. It's going to be coming together and getting some work done. When we leave there, we want to have some outcomes. We want to have some way where we can reach people and we can tangibly touch them and help them get liberated into everything God has for them. There's no reason for what's going on, and I don't know why it is, but there, except for greed, and it's always about the greediness. But like I always say, greediness is a sin. But if we get ourselves together and stop thinking about, and money is a wonderful thing. That's why I said you put your money. We're investing every time we come here. We're making our money. We're building wealth, generational wealth. It's not just it's for our family, but it's also to do some good, to help somebody else come up. So every dime you make should have a purpose to it, should be aligned to purpose, should be aligned to greatness, should be aligned to empowering value. And when you do that, your money will never go into yeah, I want to say it because that's not how it's said. It'll never go into fraud. It'll never go into craziness that's all over the world. It will never go to anything bad because you have a purpose for good aligned to every dime that you make, to build your family, to build generational wealth. So when you have that focus, you can't get into crazy. More if you get in touch with God and align up with God's purpose for you, you will never get into crazy. So I tell people, if you get your purpose in check, I don't care how much money you make, you ain't going to be crazy, because that money has a purpose that God has aligned it to. And when you think like that, things you get won't own you. You will own things. They are just tools that God has given us to do everything he's called us to. That's all it is. It's money, a form of exchange. So we could help others, so we could do what God created us to do. When you see it like that, it can't take you into crazy places. And you have to have that purpose in your mind. It's always to build up. It's always to help. It's always to establish God's covenant in the earth and advance his kingdom. When we have that in mind, money will not run you. You will run money. And that's what we got to have, that mindset. So then God can bless you. Because if God can't trust you with a little, he ain't going to trust you with a lot, because you're going to be a hot mess all over the place. So we have to be very, very on purpose with what we're doing and everything we're doing to make sure that people's lives are changed for the better and not the worse. So that's what it's all about. So join us. FF26 is going to be it's going to be in Greece, and it's going to be a little. And now we saw that thing. When I saw that thing in Spain yesterday, it had my little a little angst. One person said a little pause. I started, but wait a minute now. It's just going to be one day we're going to be there. But still, I'm like, well, what is this? Did you all see that mess? I'm telling you, if you don't trust God, and I'm telling you, I heard everybody talk about the whole thing. And I try not to get into politics too much on here, but I have values I stand for and beliefs, and that's what drives what I do and who I support and whatever. And even when I support them, I don't support them all the way, because God is king to me. So I still have to make sure they measure up to the standard of God. At least whoever comes close enough will, get my vote. But when people tell you about the border thing, and I said, common sense. That's all I got to say. Because if you don't have borders, you're going to have that. And not just that, more of that. I saw people come up from the water. When I saw it, I was like, this has got to be AI. This cannot be real. The people look like ants. I keep telling everybody. When I saw it at first on the internet, I was like, what is this? People coming out of the water like ants. They said there was over 60,000 people that were pouring into Spain from Morocco. And it's a little, I think they were explaining how that little Ceuta it's part of Spain, but it's still part of Morocco. It's very, very close. It's like they said about 16 miles between Morocco and Spain, but it's still a long situation. These people were not just on boats, they were swimming. I saw this man with 5 children. One was a baby, and everybody had a flotation device on, and they had their little wetsuits. And they were in the water. He had all of them. They came out alive now, guys. They came out alive. That means they're doing some good swimming. But I'm like, who would do that? I mean, I know you want a better life, but that is crazy. And they came out like swarms of bees and ants. I have never seen so many people come out of anything in my life. The only thing reminded me of is whenever you watch those old movies about the Vikings and way back in the day when the British and the Spanish and all these people were fighting each other, and they used to come. They had ships. They didn't have planes. They had these big ships they would row. That's what the Norway people remind me of. If you watch the World Cup and they were rowing, but that's what they are. That's where the Vikings come from, these areas. And they would come out, they would have the ships on the water, and then they would just come quietly, and then they would just charge the beaches. the army would just charge the beasts from the water and go up to them down and start fighting. That's what that reminded me of. I was like, that is crazy. And then most of them had to go back because they realized they didn't have any place to live. They had no jobs, no money. They didn't know what to do. They didn't have a plan. I don't know who told them to just come. They want a better life. But I mean, even if you want a job, they have to interview you. You have to sit somewhere. They have to figure out if you're good for them. So it's not just like immediately they can take you on, unless it's a day job. And even that, people got to vet you. So I'm like, who told you could just come out the street? All of y'all just swarm, and no, they can't even accommodate them. They don't have the capacity, the housing, the money to do anything for them. So some of them stayed and they tried to get to the mainland, but a lot of them had to go back. I think they said about 40,000 plus went back to Morocco because they realized, well, this is not going to work. Whole day, they couldn't eat. They had nothing to eat. They had nothing, nowhere to live, take a shower, nothing. They were just in clothes, walking around like nomads because they didn't have a plan. And I'm like, and I hope, and I think it did because they end up adding some more fortification to their borders. Spain is that it had to open your eyes to the fact that your borders are very weak and vulnerable. Because if regular people could do that, think about an army and the times we live in, we can't play with that stuff. So I was just, in a way, when I saw it, I just started to pray. I was like, my first instinct was, what in the world is that? Who are these people and where are they coming from like that? Because I knew Morocco, and one guy was saying Morocco is a pretty country, but things are hard. They don't have jobs. They don't have a lot to, and they don't have good teachers and good medicine, but I guess Medicare and stuff like that. So he was saying that, but then I realized, I mean, people go there to these places on vacation, but sometimes the people living there are not going through the best situation because they have to live in it. And usually it's the cost of living is so low. That means because they're not making that much money. So I was like, but the way they left, y'all, we really have to pray for Europe because some of them still, and the other thing, when they got to land, they just mingled with everybody. They just started running. I was like, if I was on the street and I saw that, I would just run for the hills. You hear me? Because they just ran into the streets. So by the time you look, you couldn't figure out who was who because they looked like regular people. And that's how criminals can assimilate into a culture and destroy the culture from within because nobody knows who they are. They have no documentation. Nobody has paperwork on them. They don't know who came in and who left. So they're just there. And some of them said they're going to still try to make it to the mainland, probably get jobs or get a train or something because everywhere, you can take a train all over Europe. So, I mean, and the other countries are mad. Like Italy they put a new thing in place for their immigration policy to make sure that these people don't come in because they can't accommodate them. It's too many at one time. I mean, and if you don't think you need to pray, that's why I tell people the Bible said, discern the times. If you don't think you need to pray, when you see that, then you need to go and have a talk with God because you're not discerning the time. That is a prayer meeting and a half because if they could do that, think of what else they could do. And that's all that came to my mind. So, I mean, we just have to pray for Europe and just pray for everything going on. It's a beautiful area over there. But let me tell you something. The devil always tries to destroy stuff. So we just have to be aware and pray. That was crazy. I have never seen something like that in my life. And I hope I never will. Even the people that come here on the little boats from like you hear Cuba and these countries, it's not that many at once. It's like a little boat here, a boat there, a boat, you know what I mean? And they showed though when we had the storming of the Mexican border before they put up the wall, it was kind of like that. But the thing is, we had ICE. We had people there monitoring and taking their documentation and their paperwork. Some people still slipped through the cracks, but we had people there. They did not have people. I mean, the police were actually opening the gate for them. I was like, why are you doing that? Do you understand? Do you understand what you're doing right now? Or they couldn't handle it. They just broke through and the police just let them through. One man said the police in Morocco just let them through the border to go, and which they shouldn't have done. So I guess there's an investigation going to take place or whatever. But that was crazy. When I saw that, I was like, Lord, is Spain going to be okay? So I don't know. So just listen for updates. But for now, we're still going to be in Madrid for one day and then go to Greece. But that was crazy. Oh, my God. I'm telling you everything. And what one thing that came to mind when I saw that after everything that I was like for a couple of days and I was like, okay. And I thought about it. I'm like, Lord, let your glory flood the earth like that. Let the same way the people were flooding, let your glory flood the earth, flood the nations like that. When we pray and your glory fills our lives, let it flood the nations like that. Let your people worship. Let your people praise. Let people get saved and delivered, and it look just like that, because that's the only way that's a good thing right there, because that will do such great damage to the gates of hell, and will lift up nations and lift up people all over the world. So that's the only thing I would like to look like that. God's people flooding the earth and the glory of God flooding the earth. My God. Anyway, so that was, I think, one of the main things in our current events or world history, whatever that happened to this week. Because this week, that was the headline. I think it still is the headlines. And me, Lord Jesus. Anyway, topic for the day. Hope you check out our blog every Friday at 8 a.m. And this week was the gap between what? Competence and confidence. And isn't that one of the main things we're dealing with in our world today? I hope you check out our blog every Friday. The podcast for that was really good as well. Very informative and very detailed, getting into the nitty gritty of it, you know? So that was good. So hope you listen to that every Friday. Oh my God. Okay. You can go back to listen to it now. It's still there. It stays up. Okay. Okay. The gap between confidence and competence. And the one thing I had to, that I really liked about it is that, because a lot of us go through imposter syndrome. A lot of us go through all these different things and you hear about them. And it's like for me, you have to have a balance between confidence and competence. You have to know what you know, and the knowing that you know what you know builds your confidence. But sometimes, even when you know what you know, there could be a lack of confidence as well, because you're like, will they listen? Do I know enough? Is my delivery the best? All these different things can play. But when you're doing things, you have to have confidence, because even some people are very, very knowledgeable, but the lack of confidence does not make them appeal to people, or they can't speak it or relay what they know. And that's why it's very important for us in the business space, in the academic space, whatever space it is, for us to know who we are, even as Christians, when we're sharing the good news, the gospel with people, we got to do it with confidence, so they will know that this is something good, that we know what we're talking about, that we've experienced God, and we know that He's good for them, and the message is God's truth to them. That way, people are drawn to it because we're saying it with confidence. And a lot of times, there's not a balance between them, and that gap causes a lot of problems. Okay, I'm going through the whole, and you could also read. I mean, we have the podcast, but we also have the visual that you could read as well. And the first sentence of it is: competence is what you can actually do. Confidence is what you believe you can do. Okay? Big difference. What you can actually do and what you believe you can do. The gap between them, whether you're underconfident or overconfident, shapes decisions, careers, teams, and organizations. Understanding that gap and managing it intentionally is one of the highest leverage moves a leader, a team member, or an organization can make. So you have to figure out the gap between that. You have to bring it together so that you could get your message forward with confidence and effectively. Oh my God. Okay. Why the gap matters for performance and risk. Underconfidence leaves talent idle. Skilled people hesitate, delay, or decline opportunities, which slows growth and wastes potential. Overconfidence, on the other hand, pushes people into errors, uncalculated risks, and costly blind spots. Then you have another area: development and retention. Employees who are consistently undervalued by their own self assessment stop proposing ideas and accepting stretch roles. Those who overestimate abilities burn out or create friction when outcomes don't match assurance. So you can see both ends of the spectrum, there's going to be a problem. Okay. And the last one they had: trust and credibility. Confidence informs how others perceive you. When confidence aligns with competence, trust grows. When it doesn't, credibility erodes quickly and often irreparably. Okay. So you have to be very careful. It has to balance. They have to be aligned. So you're not over on one end and under on the other end. A good, healthy balance is what makes for a good organization, for a good family, for a good country, for everything, business, everything. You have to have a balance of the two. Okay, the gap may exist. They have a cognitive biases, feedback, scarcity or noise, organizational signals, identity and emotion. All these are different ways why the gap could exist. You don't understand what you're supposed to be doing. You don't understand what the effect is. You don't get you're not listening to feedback, so you're not figuring out why there's a gap. Now, how to measure the gap? 360-degree feedback. Compare self ratings with peer, manager, and direct report assessments on specific skills and behavior. You need to welcome feedback, comment sections. Sometimes those can be a little much, and some people stop them because people start getting real negative. But you need some kind of feedback, whether it's from yourself, from your peers, from people you trust, from your customers. That's why you have people have suggestion boxes or comment sections, and that way you can know what's going on, even if it's negative, so you can know what to fix and what to tweak. Okay. Outcome versus forecast variance. Track how individuals predictions compare to actual results over time. So sometimes people want to predict some things, track how they measure up to the actuals. People usually have actuals and estimates. You have to look at those actuals and estimates to make sure that your actuals are coming out good. Okay. And sometimes you need them to be more than your estimates. If they're consistently lower than your estimates, then you need to check that and tweak whatever needs to be tweaked to get that up to par. Competency mapping. Use observable behaviors and task-based assessments to establish competence baselines. Then compare them to willingness to take responsibility and lead. That's also ways that you can monitor your team when they're doing different things, and they're doing, and you give them assessments. See how they accept or are willing to take responsibility. If it doesn't go good, how willing are they to take responsibility and tweak it? If they're not willing to do that, there's a problem. They can't lead effectively, because you have to be able to take, and I wouldn't call it this, constructive criticism and just feedback. I mean, there's criticism, then there's things that are just meant to help evaluate what you're doing to help you do better. You have to be able to take those, because if you don't, yeah, there could be some big problems. Calibration exercises. Ask people to attach confidence levels to predictions or decisions. Then measure calibration, the match between stated confidence and frequency of success. You have to match them. You have to do those evaluations for yourself as well. Okay. But if you have a team, for the team, definitely, especially the more people you get, you want to make sure you have some system in place so you can analyze what's going on, so you can know how to catch a gap, nip it in the bud before it gets too big, before you get too many people, because that's what some people do, and they're not doing the self-analysis or the team analysis or whatever analysis you got to do, and they end up with a big problem, and which should have been caught in the seed stage. Or just somebody was just saying that, talking about that. Something that should be caught in the seed stage, if you let it grow too much, it's going to be caught in the tree stage, and by that time it'll be you have a whole bunch of damage that you could have avoided. So always do those analyses. Okay, practical ways to close or manage the gap. Seek targeted feedback regularly. Use micro stretch assignments. Build competence incrementally through increasingly challenging tasks with clear success criteria. Confidence grows with repeatable wins. So you start small assignments so you can help build up their confidence. So as they win in the different uh, assignments, you keep promoting them up higher and higher and higher to more difficult assignments. So you're building up the confidence there because they have repeatable wins. Okay. Practice calibration on forecasts and judgments. State a confidence percentage and record outcomes. Review patterns to adjust self-assessment. Okay, so when you're doing forecasts and judgments, state a confidence percentage and record outcomes. You have to do some recordings. You have to do some assessments of yourself too. You can't just be saying, "Oh, I'm good." That's why every week we have the action plan, so you can have some things that you do to analyze yourself and see what's going on, and if you're having the success you need, and if not, then what do I need to tweak to get those in a better place. Adopt deliberate reflection after projects run short, after action reviews. What went well? What surprised you? What skill do you need next? Have to do that. Can't be afraid to see what's going on. That's why we have, even at the end of the year, when we have the advent calendar, part of that we always put to assess yourself, what you did. Did you achieve your goals? What do you need to do better for the new year coming up? All these are little ways of us checking on ourselves. About the what? Not the Bible. The rapper says, "Check yourself before you wreck yourself." Okay, that's it right there. Simple and to the point, and it's very important. The Bible said, "He that judgeth himself is judged of no one." Because you're checking yourself and you're doing the work on yourself, you're changing what needs to be changed so that you can get to a better place. Okay? Because nobody is perfect. Only God. Some people like to tell them that I don't care what you think. You're not perfect. Get to God, check yourself, and see how you can get better. It's always about, if the life, once you're living, you have to get better. You have to grow. There's nothing like I've arrived. Oh no, the moment you think that is the moment you're going down. Life is meant to be to live and grow, to get better and better until our assignment here is done and God calls us home. Okay? Next, develop a growth identity. Frame capability as improvable. Commit publicly to experiments, not perfection. Commit publicly to experiments, not perfection. So when you're doing different things and you set them up, make it sound like more like an experiment as opposed to you being perfect. When you do it like that, then you can accept whatever comes out of it, whatever the outcome is, and you're not defensive against it. So you're like, well, I can do. Oh no, it's a no. See what it is. It's an experiment until we see where we have to tweak, what's good, and we can keep going and keep increasing our levels of excellence. Okay. For items for teams and leaders, normalize transparent feedback cycles, reward accurate forecasting context, reward accurate forecasting and learning, not just results. Provide clear competency frameworks, define what good looks like at each level so people can reliably compare themselves to external standards. Match challenges to demonstrated competence plus a bit of a stretch. Avoid promoting solely for charisma or presentation polish. Okay? Coach calibration, not just skill. Teach people how to qualify confidence when making recommendations. State assumptions, indicate uncertainty, and suggest contingencies. Okay, so we have to do those things. That's for teams and leaders. For organizations, design hiring and promotion practices to test realistic, repeatable behaviors rather than impressions or charisma. Repeatable behaviors, you have to look for those and be able to test those. Create safe circuits for experimentation. Psychological safety reduces the pressure to fake confidence and encourages truthful reporting on competence gaps. Track and report calibration across functions. Aggregate data on prediction accuracy and feedback alignment to detect systemic over or under confidence risks. Make sure you put things in place, data, whatever it is you have to put in place so you can detect when people are overconfident or underconfident. You want to make sure you get the right balance. So when you detect it, you know you have things in place so you can attack that and bring everything in alignment so you have a well balanced situation, not over or under. Okay? So you have to have those in place. Embed learning systems. Invest in mentoring, role rotation, and structured practice so competence can catch up to or temper confidence. Okay? You have to have learning, invest in mentoring, role rotations, structured practice so competence can catch up to or temper confidence. So you have to learn whatever it is you have to put in place, whether you send them off to classes or whether you have training classes, have people come in to train them. Whatever it is, you have mentors set up. You have partner them up with a senior executive with probably a younger junior executive, and pair them up so one can train the other. and then you can build their skills in there, build them their experiences, because sometimes you can have book knowledge but you haven't got the practical skills because you haven't been in that field long enough. So these are the ways you can train people and rotate them so they can learn the different skills that they need to and feel comfortable, so you're not over or under. Okay, and you have the right people set up to help them develop healthy practices in your organization. Okay, when a gap is healthy, I'm gonna stop right. When a gap is healthy, a small gap where confidence slightly exceeds competence can be productive, encouraging initiative and upward mobility. You have to make sure that all the little things in there that can cause downward motion are leveled. Try to eliminate them as much as possible so that you have a healthy organization, you have a healthy church, you have a healthy family, you have a healthy business, whatever it is. So work on those things and build a better organization. And I thought that was so good because sometimes even in our personal lives, you can be under or overconfident. I mean, it just happens because you're doing so many things, you have so many things to do, and you're just like, okay, I'm doing it, but you have to be able to analyze yourself and say, how can I do this better? What do I need to work on here? And I like doing that for myself. It's not easy because everybody wants to think they're doing great, and we are doing great. But even the people doing great need work. And not even just because you're doing bad, because of the times they're changing. I mean, we have AI now, and AI is just a boost. But people are not, if you're not adjusted to it, it could be a problem. And you see people getting scared, I'm going to lose it. I said, no, just adjust to it. You won't lose your job if you get adjusted to it because they need you. Okay? Humans are necessary to run this earth. I mean, right. If you put a robot on there with no human to check it, oh my God, bless your little heart. I don't want to be in that. Okay, so just know that, and just I'm working on myself, and just give yourself permission to not be perfect. You're just doing what you do, and you're growing, and the skills that you learn there can just take you so many places that you don't even know. So just be willing to do the work. Hebrews 10:35 says, cast not away therefore your confidence, which hath great recompense of reward. Don't cast away your confidence. Never ever let anything take away your confidence. Don't be overconfident, but or underconfident. Just be confident, and especially be confident in God. Next scripture, Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. Christ is the one that's giving you the strength. Now, that is when you have that confidence in him, you can have good confidence. Because, even when you slip up, he comes in and he gives you the necessary strength that you need. He gives you the necessary information that you need. He gives you the necessary skills that you need because he knows all. So once you see you have something to do and it's a little difficult, say, God, I can do all things through you. Show me how to do this. Teach me how to do this. Lead me to the right person that can help me do this. And he always does. But we have to know that when you have your confidence in God, you can never go wrong because he will show you things that you cannot even show yourself because he has the whole aerial shot of the whole thing. He knows everything. He knows everyone. He knows you better than you know yourself. He knows when you can mess up and when you can't mess up. And he will bring you back in a minute. Bring it in. Okay, you're going a little too far. And he will show you the things to do and what not to do. That's why I said, when you're not connected to God, you're at such a disadvantage. You don't even know the disadvantage. And I keep telling people, I don't need to doubt that. I know that's true because I just watched the crazy going on in the world today. I'm like, wait a minute. How do you mess that up? Okay. Because when we don't put our confidence in God, we could mess up. Humans can mess up royally. So we need to set our eyes on God so he can show us how to do these things and do it well. Oh my God. I like that topic for today. I like that for us. That was good. Overconfidence. No, competence versus confidence. And it's good to know the difference. And it's good to make sure that you study and you do your research. And now it shouldn't even be too hard because with Google and now with AI, you can learn things that would take you years to learn in a matter of minutes. Do your research. I tell you, do your research. Don't be afraid to do your research and do good research. Okay. And don't cheat. Because you cheat yourself when you cheat, because then you have to really know what it is. Okay. So do your research. It's just important. Oh my God. And we have no excuse with the AI. That's why I tell people, see it as your research assistant. See it as the assistant that you need that can give you everything you need on assistance. Okay. See that and take the help. But be very wise in how you deal with it. And there are a lot of people talking about it now, so you have no excuse. Okay, go back to our stewarded segment. I hope we're stewarding well. There's all kinds of stuff going on between the wars, shaking up the, the stocks and the energy prices and the barrels of oil going down. We got gas today. It was 3.52, I believe, which is a decent price. Okay, under four. And there's some places it may be less, but for now, that's the lowest we found in our area. So 3.52 for gas, y'all. And I still think it could be lower, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, let's go to our Weeble and see what's going on. We had a lot of activities. There's an up and down. I mean, the same up and down. Every time the war comes on, there's a down. Was it? It goes down a bit when it comes back. But in the end, it's going to be worth it because you see all the different things that are happening with that war. It's almost like leveling the playing field in the oil situation. So let me tell you something. I'm praying. That's why I tell people everything that goes on. You pray for your leaders. You pray for leaders of the world, and you say, God, intervene and do what you need to do, that your people could live a happy life. Okay, so we just pray, and that yeah, give them the boost they need because I said, God, we need some help with this situation. Okay, now you see there's a lot of red, so you see the little downage going on here, and that's where the system happened. It was a little downage this week. It was up a bit from last week. It went down. It went up a little bit again. Went down. I think it ended up on Friday was a little up, but just not as much as it was before. So, but we're still thankful. Netflix is still in the problem zone. I don't know what it is. Now it's in the 70s. It used to be in the 80s. I cannot figure out that Netflix. But anyway, you still have it. So hey, what is it? Eli Lilly, as you see right here, down a bit. Hold on one second. Let me check something. Okay, good. All right. Eli Lilly is down a bit, but it's still at that over 1,000 situation because it has a lot of good the pharmaceutical uh, medicines and drugs. They make a lot of that, so you see them right there. Mu went down a bit. It was in the eights. That's one I'm not sure about that one. Microtechnology. It was in the thousands, but as of I think last week, I think it was in the nines before the beginning of last week, but then it went down to the eight. So but it's still a steady situation because they're still creating things that are needed um, for what you call that AI. So they're still very necessary. Why it's going down all this, and I think the tech industry took a hit. Tech stocks took a hit this week too. Sandisk is another one still up there, but it went down a bit. SpaceX is another one that's going down. It's doing a lot of dippage. It's in the 108. So I'm hoping it goes back up because that's when it came out at what 135, 153, but it's a 108. So hopefully it goes back up. Now Apple has been doing very well. They're in the 300s. They went down a little bit, but they've been doing pretty decent for the whole of last week, basically. Good is going down, went down a bit, but it's still over 12. When it's over 12, I'm good with 12 going into when it's in 13, even better. 14, even better. But when it's over 12, I like that. Gain, as you see, went down a bit, but it's in the 16, $16.15, and that's good because when I start seeing, because these two are tried and true monthlies. That's the monthlies. That's the monthly paycheck right there you get. So but when it's in the 16, it's a little better. So I'm like that. RDTE, that's one of our weeklies, and that one is down a bit, but still over $28.23. So that's good. CVX Chevron. Now you see how they're taking the because of the war and everything going on with the oil, they went up a bit to 196. I think Exxon went up a bit to well, went up to 155, but they went down a bit too. So the oil stocks are still doing a little decently because of all what's going on, of course. TSYY, which is a weekly, is down. Is well, it's up. It's down a bit, but coming back up because I think last week it was in the $22 range. I think, and it's in the $20 range. So, but it's doing decent. But these, make sure you got some of the weeklies, guys, because that means a paycheck every week. That's what and their dividends. You have to check to make sure they have dividend. Not all stocks have dividends. They don't offer dividends. Like Tesla doesn't. There's another one, Microsoft. One of those or Amazon. One of them does. So all of them don't, but if they do, yeah, check for those. Meta doing decently. 556 went down a bit, but it's going back up. I think it It was in the sixes or sevens at one point, right? 600, 700, I think at one point. But now it's still doing good at the 556. Schwab US dividend, decent dividend. Still there in his 33 range. That's about the range he's always at, between 32 and 34. Very steady, very good dividend. It's an ETF. So you want to, if you don't have that on your portfolio, you may want to put it on your watch list to see if you want to add it, because it's been tried and true for years and it's still there and it gives very good dividends. Okay. GNL 872, and that one went down a bit. It's been in the nines and the tens. It went down to the 87, so we want that to go back up because that's a REIT as well. Another tried and true. Okay. Again, you don't have to spend too much to get a share, but let me tell you something, the dividends are worth it. Okay. QQQ is one of our ETFs, 687, doing decently. SPY is another dividend, but it's in the sevens. Picked up again. Okay, my eyes are doing something, y'all. Anyway. VU, one of my favorites, doing well, 686, up a little bit. And you have NVIDIA. Now, I thank God. NVIDIA. It'd been the 200, but like over, I think Friday, between Thursday and Friday, it was dipping into the 190 something. It's like, oh, Jesus. But it picked up again by Friday evening, $200.75 per share. So doing decently, okay? Now, NVIDIA, you want to have in your portfolio. That one is like major in the AI. So you want to, and again, I always tell people, look at what's right for you. If you have an ETF, most of the ETFs like VU and SPY have, they also invest in NVIDIA, okay? Because remember, the ETFs are a pool of different stocks from different companies. So VU has NVIDIA, I believe SPY does as well. QQQ, I'm not sure. So if you have stocks in VU and SPY, you will have stocks in NVIDIA. Okay, but just not, they don't have like a huge share. They have like, fractional shares. So you have that as well. Okay, so that's why if you go into ETFs, if you find you're having an issue with one stock, you could do an ETF and you'd have a pool. So it's like a buffer for you, and then you have a whole bunch of different top stocks that they invest in as well. So you can do that as well. GNMA 43, 42, and then YEF is our other weekly, and that's at 882. I can't wait for that to go up to like, because to me it used to be in the nines and the tens, but it's staying around, hovering around the eights. So hopefully, we've seen that pitch there. But that's what's going on with these stocks. It's doing really well. Just have a lot of dips here and there because of the volatility. I'm not sure if anything with this, the whole thing in Spain affected anything, but I know for sure the war in Iran, that is a huge war because of the oil, okay? And because thank God we have oil here, and that keeps us from having to buy too much oil over there. So I tell people, you got to have your stuff, but, and the barrels are going, the price is going down tremendously. So that's helping us. And they're trying to find alternatives, which is helping so everybody just needs a little help, and we need to pray that God gives them the wisdom to do what needs to be done, so we're not held hostage for oil. The devil is a liar. Okay. All right, let's go back over here and unshare and go back to hold on. And go back to share to go our NASDAQ and see what's going on the other end of there. Okay. Oh God. Y'all, if you all notice, I'm having major hair days, but God is good. Let's see. All right, hold on. Okay. NASDAQ. Okay, here's our NASDAQ people right here. And we have on our most active by dollar volume, you have new. See, it went down a bit, but it's active. Okay, that means people are selling. Okay. SPY, it went up a bit. Apple went down a bit. Oh, negative 7.4 percentage. That's serious. Amazon went up a bit. Microsoft up. NVIDIA went up. QQQ went up. SanDisk went down a little bit. Google went up. And AMD went down. So that's where the activity was going on. A lot of trade going on with those. High volumes, okay? And that's good. That's a good indicator for if you're doing options or whatever, and you need to know what's going on, even with regular stocks, what is selling, what's being bought, so you can see how you can make it'll help you with your decision-making process. Retail trading activity tracker, MU, negative 3.91. Oh God, there's only everybody's down. Amazon's down, Apple's down, Nvidia's down, SanDisk is down. There was just a little downage this week. There was some uppage though, so we have to look at those. But yeah, there was a little downage. And again, there's a lot going on, a lot of volatility and things going on in the market. So then we have our dividends, and it was the end of month too, okay? Because we just started a new month. So again, when the beginning of the month, end of the month, look for the dividends. They're coming in. Some came in last week. Some are going to come in this week. So keep your eye open for those as well. Oh, they had the semiconductor sell-off. One chip stock to buy. Oh, okay. Stock finished higher as Amazon leads mega caps. Okay. Monday we have some coming up. That'll be the 3rd of August. 4th. So just look for those again. If you have the weeklies every week, you're getting dividends, okay? And make sure you check those ex-dividend dates and the payment dates. Make sure those are locked in so you know what to expect when the dividends come in. Here's Strive. And don't forget, you check those every week. That's also a way of you checking what stocks are out there that give high dividends so you can see what's going on and research the companies. Make sure they're a company that you would want to buy. If something was selling, they said you could get this company, you'd want to buy it because it's profitable and it's valuable. Okay, and that's one of the main ways to determine if you should invest in that company. Okay, so I think we have decent things. I think we're looking, August is going to be decent. I think, and I'm just praying with all the things going on that we still have increase in the markets. And again, even if the prices are down or whatever, that is a sale. I always have to, I always try to remember to say that every week because I wanted to have that mindset of this is not something where the sky is falling. This is something where I can get another company for less. I can get something good for less because there's a sale going on. And watch it make when it comes back up, you'll be right in there in with that whole boom, whatever increase that comes out. Okay. So always look at it, have a mindset of abundance. Okay. What is the opportunity in there? What is the opportunity in this downage? So I could use it now to bring increase. Okay. To your portfolio and to your, always remember it's for your family. It's for your generational wealth for the kids that you have not even seen yet. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's it for today with our stewarded segment. I hope you enjoy happy trading. I like to say happy investing. I don't like to say too much because sometimes they say the day trading is a little negative. There's a little negative connotation because of people just, almost like going too risky or whatever. So, but if you have all the information, you shouldn't be that way. Okay, it shouldn't be even be like it should be. I have all the necessary information to guide me into making the right decision. So it's not even like a betting or whatever they call it, or gambling. It's you saying, okay, this is a company that's good, and it's a good company for me to invest in because I've looked at the track record. I'm watching the analysis on it because every stock you can do the research on them in your brokerage or wherever. Whenever you see a stock, they have a little segment with the research that gives you all the information on the company, what the dividends are if they have dividends, how long have they been. It shows you the actuals and the projected or estimate earnings or revenue that they're putting out there, and shows you what's higher than what, so you can make a determination. They show you the earnings. They show you all kinds of stuff. They show you everything. They have a chart on there. You can read your charts and it goes up and down, and everything. We don't even go into charts, but I may have to do that one day. Okay, so you're seeing everything there to make an informed decision. Sorry, y'all. It has the numbers for up to 5 years sometimes. So you could see everything there. And that's how you make your informed decision. So you can see, is this something I want to invest in? Because you're an investor and you invest so you can bring profit, not just for yourself, but for others. Okay. Invest to liberate. Let's add that to our liberation. Okay. All right, everybody. It's been real. This has been good. I hope you're investing. This here is working me today, but anyway, I hope you're investing and doing what God wants you to do, and you're being a blessing every single place you go. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back to this to ask the questions. Our action plan. 2 questions we have for you. What is your purpose? What is your purpose? And then, are you honoring your uniqueness? Are you honoring your uniqueness? A lot of times we want to do all these different things. You are unique. What you bring to the table, nobody brings to the table. So you get that together and you say, okay, how can I use this to bless or to do what God wants me to do? How do I get more competent in this area? Because that's what God has called me to do. So you don't try to be like everybody else. Try to be like what God created you to be and work on that and build that and get as much information and knowledge and experience as you can so you can be the best version of yourself in that area. Because that is your, what do you call it? Secret sauce. That is what separates you from everybody else. Don't try to be like everybody else. Okay. Understand the uniqueness and make sure, because when people, your value comes from when you have something that nobody else has. That's what people will pay for. That's what people will be drawn to because you have that secret sauce and nobody else has it. Every human has their own secret sauce that God has given them, him or her. And when you find that out and you tap into that and run with that, ain't nobody can stop you because nobody can be better at you than you. That's why I tell people, don't try to be anybody else, just be you. Because God put you here with something that nobody else has. And when you find that out, you work that thing until it can't be worked again and make sure you're adding value with it. It's not just so, yeah, we make money from it and all that stuff, but make sure you're adding value to people's lives because that's what they're going to pay for. And that's what's going to make you a blessing everywhere you go. How you speak, what you say, how you do it, everything is God has put it together in a package to bless the world. And listen to what I said, to bless the world. So some people, they don't understand their value, so they end up being a problem in the world because now they're damaging people. They're adding hate all over the place. They're doing wicked things all over the place because they don't understand their value. And so they will allow anything and anyone to come and take that value and devalue them. Okay, now we go to a whole different topic I didn't expect to go into. And you let people devalue. And that's what I was watching in country. And I was just trying to think about that whole thing with the borders. When I saw that thing happening in Spain, I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, when people don't know their value, they just feel they can just be open to everybody. No. If you don't understand your value and your enemy understands it, they're going to come and take it from you. If you have something in your house, okay, probably you have to go like simple because sometimes people need simple, just break it down. If you have a house and you have valuable treasures in your house, but you don't understand how valuable they are, and you leave your door wide open till everybody come in, okay, and somebody else out there knows what you have and knows how valuable it is, but you just think it's a little piece of tin. You understand it's diamonds and gold and all kinds of, it's just a piece of tin. And you leave your door open, they come right in the house. How are you? Take it and leave. And you'll be sitting there figuring, why did they take that? That's not a value. That's why you need borders. And that just hit me. That's why you need a gate. That's why you need doors. Because you're protecting what's inside. You're protecting the value inside. Any willy-nilly can just come in and take your value because they feel they want it. No, they have theirs. Work on theirs. And if you want people to get what you have, you tell them, I would like to offer this to you as a gift, or you need to pay me for this because this is valuable. And that way I could take care of my family and friends. That's what value is. People only let people come and take things away when they don't understand its value. And that's where you have your problem. That's why you have people just sleeping with everything that moves, or doing anything that moves, or putting drugs in their body, or putting or looking at different things. They're coming out crazy. They don't understand the value. See, God put so much value in us. That's why He sent His Son, one and only Son, to die to redeem us. He could have left us a hot mess and said, you know what? I'll make a whole other nation. They're good. I'll do a whole other thing because I did it before. I could do it again. But He understood because He created the value and He had a purpose for us. Human beings, and He put them on the earth because He said, I want to communicate some stuff with human beings so we could have a different situation on the earth. And He saw it as so valuable that He sent His Son to redeem us back. So when you understand that you are value, you bring value to the table. God, not because people told you, because God told you. He's the only one that can say nothing. Everybody else don't matter when it comes to value. He created this whole thing that we see, we call earth. And we're just living in His world. He just allowed us to breathe. As a matter of fact, if we get if it becomes too much of a problem, He just take the breath out of our life and we're done. That's it. He determines what happens, what doesn't happen. He allows things to happen. So that's why I tell people, if God gives you value, you have to know it. And as a nation, God gives you value because you have people in your nation. People are valuable. People make the nation valuable. People come with resources. You have gold, you have oil, and all kinds of stuff that's in the earth that God put there. You have to know your value. When you know it, you know you can't just let everybody come in, because they're going to come and rob you blind, and they're going to leave you destitute and dirty and all kinds of mess, and you're still trying to figure out, why did they come here? Because this is not valuable. This is just this and that. But everybody's coming together, but you don't figure out that there's something here why they're coming. And that is where the problem lies. And that's why I tell people, anything of value, the gate, the door is not to protect people from, it's to protect what's inside. And if you protect what's inside, then you can give it to the world. But if you don't have it, you can't give nothing to the world. Okay, I just added that for free, because that just came to me. I didn't even really think about it until I started talking. We protect value by placing parameters and boundaries to keep it in. And when the more we protect it, the more we have it available to share with others. But if we don't protect it, we won't have it to give, because everybody's going to take it. And that is what we have to understand. And it's not just for countries, it's for people, for your life. Understand your value. Share with people, but don't let yourself just be taken for free and for cheap all over the place. That's not God's intent. And you have to understand. That's why I tell people, the whole thing we have is our empowered value. When you get to know the one who created you, and you get to see yourself through his eyes, you will never underappreciate people. You will never destroy people. You will never bring down people, because you understand the value God placed in you and each and every individual. Everything, even the plants, all that has value. But man is in control of it all. So understand that. You can't share with others what you don't have. You can't give to others when you're depleted. You got to fill up, get full, get strong, get satisfied, and then you can give to the world. Okay, that's what I had to say. Okay, I hope we enjoy this week. You are empowered to be great, to be everything God has called you to be. I am here working on this hair situation, but God is good. And you are blessed. So enjoy what God has called you to, and don't let anybody take it from you, okay? I'm telling you, people, fight for what God has given you, because the world needs what you have. And if you let your mind go crazy, if you let your body go, and you cannot even function to be what God has called you to be, so many people will miss out. They will not have your impact. Understand your value. Cherish your value. Protect your value. And then you can share it with the world. Okay. Enjoy the rest of the day. Be who God has called you to be, and know you're empowered. Now we're going to go out with this song that was for this week, and it's the first one in August. In August, we're going to focus on empowerment, wellness, leadership. So you're going to be hearing that's the whole thing for our month of August, our series this month. And one of the songs in this is Own Your Table. Stop waiting for people to give you permission. Own your table. Build your business. Build your organization. Build what God has put in you, so that you won't be waiting for people to give you permission. Okay? Enjoy the song. We'll see you next time. Remember to have Fava conversations. Bye-bye.
You came in with worn out shoes and a name folks misread twice. Learn the floor by moving chairs. Learn the cost before the price. Every scar became a lesson. Every mile of line you crossed. You didn't ask for room to borrow. You built a place from what you lost. Now the door swings easy when you walk on through. You know what you carry. You know what you drew on your table. On your table. You earned that seat by hand. On your table. On your table. Take your name and plant it grand. There were